treasure means I found something, but then we have the other side, which is treasure and junk. Your junk might be my treasure and all the fun stuff that goes with it. You know, if you watch TV, other than obviously us here on ABC, there's many shows where we're digging for treasure. We're hunting for treasure, right? Well, in coins, one of the fun categories is the sunken treasure ships, going back to our colonial days and earlier. And tonight we have the most significant in U.S. history. Here we go. And why I say it's the most significant in U.S. history is this particular treasure ship, the El Cazador, right? Everyone wants to put an L in there, but it's actually Cazador, is a direct tie to our colonial establishment and the independence of America and the evolution of Spain, the evolution of France, the evolution of England in this country, and then the Jefferson involvement with the Louisiana Purchase, and now we have this large country all to ourselves. This coin, this treasure, if it didn't go down, would have changed that history completely. So let's spend a couple of seconds going over the treasure and the story of the treasure, and then we'll talk about the coins and then the uniqueness of it all. Right? So the treasure itself is known as, the ship's name is El Cazador, right? It was a Spanish galleon, which means it was a military ship, and it was intended for one purpose: get silver to the port of New Orleans. The reason why was with the issues going on with Spain with France at that time in history, the two of them were kind of bouncing around. And this is right about the time of Napoleon, if you recall as well, right? So what we have is very clearly a situation where the king, as it would be called, Carlos III, right, orders silver to be sent from Veracruz, Mexico, where one of their mines was, struck into what they call cob dollars, struck by hand with mallets, and sent up to the port of New Orleans to help infuse silver into their paper money society at that time, because there wasn't enough silver to support. Now, the French were in control of part of it, but also the Spanish, and there was a little bit going back and forth, but the whole idea was to push silver. So the silver they pushed was mostly silver dollars, and that's the stuff you might have seen in the past. I know we've had them on here on this network. But the smaller denominations were the ones the average individual used, and they are known as the half real, which is a 1/2 R, half real, which is an equivalent basically to today's dime. It was the workman's coin. Of all the coins found, this was the one that had some of the smallest number of coins known, because again, they made mostly dollars just to infuse. The portrait of Carlos III is on the coin. You can see it here. You see the 1, 2, 3, and you can see the portrait in the background. Even though this is a treasure coin of Carlos, it's called the portrait design. The whole detail comes down as a certificate, and as the holder from NGC says, is in 1784, we have this issue. In June of 1784, they declare it missing. And then on August 2nd, 1993, fast forward how many hundreds of years? A trolling ship in the Gulf snags and finds silver. Now, the real detail behind this is something known as the Pitney, or the Pinckney Act of 1795. And that was the bantering between the English, i.e. us really at that time, young America, and the Spanish. East of the Mississippi was U.S. territory, i.e. the new country. West was Spanish territory. And they had this treaty to kind of calm down who actually owns the Mississippi. It's water in between. But the Mississippi goes into New Orleans, so who has right to the water in New Orleans, even though Spain at that time theoretically owned the city. And it was a great little challenge for our young government to organize, because the westward expansion was real. even at this early age in our country. So we have this unique situation for the use of the Mississippi, and then shortly thereafter, we work out a treaty with Napoleon, with the French, which basically gets rid of Louisiana and Florida. They're no longer, and now they're U.S. And then it led to what? The Louisiana Purchase in 1803. If this silver ship, the Hunter, one of their big galleons, would have made it to New Orleans, we might be speaking a different language today. It might be a different protocol today, because that was the westward expansion. And now we have enough silver to fund ourselves. Who knows what would have happened? Because the French vacated, and then Napoleon had his issues, right? The English were already out. They came back in the War of 1812. They were kicked out a second time. But it's a fun thought. That's just the story. Now, again, the coin. Has anybody looked at the price? The last time we saw this beautiful coin was at $129 to $149 for these beautiful dime size, known as half real portraits. And again, the design was portrait. The reverse, you notice the pillars? That's where the dollar sign came from. All tied to this Spanish coin. The whole U.S. system is based upon the 8 real, etc. But it is significant, it is special. Guys, we got to put that 30-second clock up. So the face of our nation, as we know it, is tied to this one treasure ship. We've heard of the Etosha before. We've heard of the SS Central America. Lots of great treasure ships that have been found around our coastline. But this one is the one that changed our theoretical coastline. This is the one that didn't get here, and because it didn't get here and the salvage attempts didn't work until 200 years later, we actually had an opportunity as a young nation to move forward. It actually fell in our favor. All of them certified, but the story is exactly as you see it. They are random coins. No two are alike because of the sea salvaged nature. They're all certified by NGC, the whole treasure, which makes it really wonderful for just having a piece of history. That certificate gives you a little bit of the story, but you can Google El Cazador to find more. So save a bundle, get a history lesson, all at the same time. I love this one. Unfortunately, though, you only find it every once in a while. And tonight, for a few minutes more, we have it, and then it's gone. History in the making, right here. Thanks, everybody. Time to be moving on.